usual, I just use this XP pen drawing pad, an XP pen, and it gives me the ability to draw pretty freely. Probably not the best instrument to use for digital art if you're new to it, but unfortunately, I've started to really grasp it. Some of the muscle memory things are starting to really click, but I've been doing this every day, just about, just to try to get one. I want to keep my creative juices pumping. I still want to be able to practice what I've been doing regularly enough that I can see some. It's going to be minor improvements, and there's going to be times when I just feel like there's not a lot of growth, not a lot of changes, but there is change, there is growth. I just need to trust that it's doing that. But anyways, I started off with a basic design, basic person. Didn't have any facial features or nothing. It was just a basic outline, and then I just slowly added, the base of the skin, which is what you see now. That's not the main part of the skin. That's just going to be basically an underlayer. And then I'm going to be sprinkling in and shading and blending and stuff to make the skin look a little better. I'm going to change the nose. Problem with the nose is just, it's hard to draw the anime nose when it's like this, Usually they only just put a dot or something to indicate that it's there for the most part. When it's on its side, or its 2/3 or whatever we want to call it, that's where we're going to really see the profile or the side of his head. So he's not going to continue to look like Voldemort. But we'll get there. I've been looking at different references and different shows, and sorry about that. It's been one of those days already, and hasn't even been that long. Okay, what layer are we on? We're on pants. Yeah. Okay, we don't need to be on pants right now. Shirt's looking fine. The shirt's shirting. It's just meant to be a basic button-up red shirt. We're going to be making a coat here in a minute. But I usually, when I make the coat, I make the coat in sections. You can see a seam there, but that was actually intentional. That's supposed to be part of the shirt itself, not a divide for the different layers or anything. Obviously, because you can't see a seam on the at the elbow, which is where these two spots are. And ideally, what you should be able to do is when you click on a layer, which right now that's just like the outline. So let's go with the color. If I were to grab my lasso, that's the left, just over here. Oh, that's bicep, not forearm. I can select it and move it. Same thing with the arm. should be able to see that. I don't have anything hotkeyed yet. I haven't even bothered with it yet. I want to get used to each of the tools first, familiarize myself with all the little things before I get to messing with the hotkeys, because you can personalize this stuff to. So the XP pen has a board already, and I'm sure there's a few hotkeys already pre-designed in this, because I've triggered it by accident. But yeah, that's not the desired outcome. That's just, I want to make sure that I get everything down pat before I decide to do stuff like that. Most of the design layers, the outlines and everything, it's on a vector layer. Because vector layers are the preferred format for Live 2D stuff, from what I understand. And the colors themselves do not have to be, unless you're trying to make that color move, which most everything on this color of that I've colored so far should be stagnant. There shouldn't be any real movement on anything. Might have to adjust it for the belt, or belts, since he's got two. But I'll burn that bridge when I cross it. Okay, so this layer, I'm gonna make him a vest. It's gonna be a basic black vest for like a tuxedo or something. Get a little closer. Getting a little friendly here, buddy. Okay. So we set the black. The size is set to 20. It's somewhat thick. That's okay. I don't want to go too far beyond the arm. I do want it to be a little above the shoulder, though. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be like it's like directly on top of the clothes. I'm not gonna put this as tight either. It's supposed to be somewhat loose fitting. You do when you're wearing something like this, it shouldn't be. This needs to be like that. Deciding how I want it to look first before I do it. Anything beyond that, you know what? I'll do it like this. My grid real quick. I don't keep the grid on, but I'll at least have it on for for this. That way. I see that symmetry line. It's not, it's perfect for him, but I made sure that the shirt and pants was just a little askew, because when you wear clothing, sometimes it gets shifted to the side a little bit or something like that. And some of it's by design, like it's meant to overlap, you know? It's not like perfectly centered, it's always a little off center to a degree, you know? And that's the idea, that's the plan. So, anyways, this. Man, decent enough. Let me over like this just a little bit, because the actual shirt's like tucked in, or at least it's meant to be that way. Hopefully that can be told. You can tell from just looking at it, but I understand that sometimes things are not as crystal clear. Okay. And I'll get a little behind his head, just you can't really tell much of anything there. And that's kind of on purpose. For this, that's the vest itself. I think I'm gonna make some circles for the buttons. For this, it's pretty easy. Let's go a little. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think one more set of buttons. Okay, that should be the vest. And I'll add a color layer. good thing about roster layers is you can pretty well just dip. You know what? I don't want to use the black. I feel like oops, one too many. Let's see, what color do I want to make it? Black would be a sensible choice, but because maybe I think I'll make it red. That would be a good idea. Deep brownish tan color. That's a little too drab. Let's deepen it, enrich it. Sometimes it's hard to tell on this wheel. That's better. Not a big deal if there's seams. That all that will get colored in. Make this smaller. Now I don't know if you guys could see, but obviously I have the margins at 5,000 by 7,000 px and 300 dpi, and that's just so that I can resize this at just about any size and it not get pixelated horribly. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. I'm probably going to add some detailing to the vest, because right now it just looks like flat, just a vest, and I feel like this should be a little more, it should be ornate almost, you know, almost Western, like this guy, he's not Western, that's not the idea. He's just supposed to be, showman. That's my whole thing, is kind of like a magician or an old school classic gent. That's the play, you know. That's the play I'm going with. So for the design, what I could do, I got that going. So let's get some black lines. Probably smaller than what those black lines are. Oh, that's silly. Whoops. Forgot that wasn't on the curve. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna make my own design. It's gonna kind of be almost paisley-like, not necessarily. think that would be great. But, oops, those weren't connected. Do that. And that. I think what I want to do is I'm going to free draw at the end of these. I'm going to put a swirl to it. What's that, 7? That's what I had it at there. Things like this anymore. Not really. I mean, every once in a while you might see something like that in a little like shop. When you take a look back, you just kind of see there's that pattern. I'm gonna fine tune it. It's not gonna be black. We're just using the black for kind of like dramatic effect, you know. At the end of each of these is gonna be a little dip. And okay, that's gonna cross. So we want no, we'll do the outside on that one. We'll do the outside. Just like that. Like some leaves on a tree or something. Maybe like deer horns, I guess. I'll have to explain it. It's going to be a little different. That's kind of intentional. Because we're getting closer to the bottom, which some of these things, they just get real extra, whether they need to be or not. We attach matched a little better. And a little more here. And then we'll color these in on the color layer. And we'll use the fill tool. Grab a color. Guess I could use the red. No, we'll just let's see. Take that brown and we'll darken it some more, maybe. How's that look? Actually, it might need to be backwards. So instead of that, yeah, that looks better. That looks better. This one's not supposed to be colored in. Because leather, once you carve into it, it kind of starts to look. It looks like it's usually lighter, even when you stain it. Once you use a dark stain, then it does the opposite. But we'll just say they didn't do that. Then we need to clean. We need to do those buttons. Kind of go for a kind of like a brass buttons. I think I should get closer and put a design on it too, just so it doesn't look flat. So, that being said, let's grab our line, make it black. Since we're getting so close on these, I think what we'll do we will get rid of those lines in the middle. Yeah. Now we just gotta do that a few more times. And then when they do that, I think when I go to color it, should have that. you can't really notice any of that. So I guess I'll just make them flat. For now. I'll come up with a different way to go about it. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go for that right now. Put something that has a fancy little getup like that. Is sure to have some fancier designs, but I think for the vest also with these little dips, I may put these. No, because that would kind of make it all almost too festive. He's not trying to be all like Christmassy. Not that that's terrible. Oh no, I'm thinking about it. Maybe I should have made this color black, but like a not quite black, you know, almost just like a really dark gray. I think that's probably better. Let's go with that. Still. Can't tell that's darker. That's too dark. That looks better. And dang it. Come on, dang thing. Stop doing stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not trying to do all that. You're just doing too much. Knock it off. Gosh. Sometimes this computer can really be a nightmare when you're trying to make stuff. Doesn't always like to work the way that you want it to. I think that's ideal for a video like this because you don't always get to see the mistakes when people do art. They usually just are so slow that like you can tell that they have ever made a mistake on a piece of art. Sometimes they just like don't show anything at all. They just have like a piece that they've drawn at a different time on the background, and they're just talking all day. which is fine. I'm not judging on that particularly. I just think that you guys should be able to see both sides of the process, because sometimes it doesn't get. Sometimes it's not pretty. But I'm also thinking about changing the color of the shirt. I think I'll make it green. Still that red. Because I think that would look better. Let me get a zoom out real quick. Maybe the red stuff, probably. It's the tone of the red. Maybe it should be a reddish purple color. So off goes the shirt, or off goes the vest for now. Let's go with the shirt color. Oh dang it, it took all the black off of those dots. What the heck? Okay, that's what I wanted you to do. This might take a minute. Sorry, guys. I'll give you guys some music while you wait. Should have been putting that on there anyway. some lines. There's a few spots that just didn't get hit good enough, or it's missed entirely. Just these little spots. Sometimes I get in a hurry and feel like I need to go and work on something else, or sometimes I just get distracted in general. Life can get in the way sometimes. Let's see, color. Let's clean this up a bit. Keeping it small, that way if it goes over a little bit on that line, not a big deal. I can clean that all up before I'm done. A lot of tension in the world these days, especially around art, digital art specifically, just because there's so much AI use these days that there's people out there that they just don't like it. Obviously, I'm one of them. I'm not crazy about the idea about robots and computers doing art, but at the same time, I'm not gonna judge people for doing it entirely. I do feel like it's a ripoff to people that are, truly passionate about this sort of thing, and it's kind of art should be left to the people to do it. Why eliminate that as an option for yourself? Especially when AI is kind of, well, one, it's cheating. It's cheating yourself out of learning something, and two, it's something that's not going to give you the result that you're desiring in the first place. So, something to just be mindful of. Come on, man. Jeez. Hold on. Stop it. It's okay to use tools, just use them for their intended purposes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how to do something, or if you're using, for instance, if you use AI art as a reference point, I don't see that as an issue, because, it is something that you can do, and it's not that damning of a thing for the rest of what you're doing. But I wouldn't take it beyond that. I used it a few different times, not for anything that I drew specifically, but to adjust what I've drawn from time to time. Like, clear out the extra noise, or just make the color pop a little better. That's really the only things I've ever used it for myself, but it is what it is. Can't get rid of it all. haven't tried. It exists, so unfortunately it's gonna be around whether I want it to be or not. That's just my take. One piece of advice for people doing this art is when you're zoomed in, take the time to, while you're zoomed in, to work on all the spots that's right there. You know, I mean, like, if you're gonna touch up one spot, you might as well touch up multiple. You know, you're gonna clean up the color leak on the sides or whatever. Let's just do it then. You know what I mean? Don't wait. A little bit can go a long way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I think that's gonna look better overall. It's purple. I think that's gonna improve things to a degree. That's bled over a little too much, huh? Shirt color. I don't know why it does this. Another reason not to get so worked up about AI art is, as you can see, programs are still not great. You know, so there's stuff that you still have to correct because of how it's made, you know. Okay. Yes, I need to do that now since I'm already there. Anything else? Oh, that side looks a little better than the other one. Looks cleaner than the other one. Oh, that's on the sleeve itself, huh? So time for the right side. Right side. There was some nasty storms today, but I didn't see nothing. Didn't rain or nothing. I don't know what the deal is with the weather. My weather programs are off. It did not do anything today. Yesterday it said it was going to be bad too, and it didn't do anything yesterday either. show. Sometimes you just can't trust it. They don't know what they're doing. That's forearm. Oh boy, you wouldn't believe that. I've actually been drinking coffee over here. Might be having the opposite effect. Forearm, time to do the forearm. Just cleaning it up before I do the thing again, because apparently if I didn't do that before. And I should have did that. Oh, that's a starting to see colors that weren't actually there. I just thought it was like lead. Colors were bleeding a little bit. I thought. Right, bicep color. I'm probably gonna do the same thing that did the other thing. Oh no, it separated it. Huh. Whatever. Why it does that? Okay. Delete the lead over there. Almost got all of it. Do that. Silly thing. One thing that really helps is when you do this is to take pictures, because once you get used to drawing something for a while, your eyes start to really like only focus on what you've been drawing, and you get used to it. And so when you take a picture of it, you can go back and look at it later, and it'll give you a good way to give yourself a second reference, because seeing it through the lens of like your phone might give it a new angle, or it might give it a zoomed out perspective. That's why also you'll see me periodically looking over on my screen here, because it does look different on here than it does over here. So I'll look at both and kind of gauge, how it looks from afar, because that's kind of what you get with that. You get it's shrunk down, but shrunk down enough to where or not too much to where I can't see, but just enough that I can weigh how it looks and decide how to improve from there. But yeah, we got that much. We got pretty much a lot down. I mean, he's looking better than he did the other day. And I think I'm going to end up shortening the groin area, because it's just kind of a little too long. I don't know. It just looks off there, I think. And it could just be me. But I think that might be the issue. But that's something I'll have to adjust off screen, not because it's dirty or anything, but it could just be on the wrong side of family friendly, which I try to keep things on this site, this channel. So sometimes it can't be helped. Sometimes I do play mature games or something, but usually it's for violence or some violent behavior or maybe some coarse language, but usually it's not much beyond that. But we'll see. We'll see what I can do with this guy. Now I need a changed nose. I need to do some shading. He's gonna get a coat to go over that too. But the reason why I'm doing each layer is so that I can save the other layers for later and reuse them however I see fit. And I could use them for different little other projects as well, maybe. Maybe I'll give them a whole different look. Maybe I will take what you've got and add something to it. Just who knows? Who knows? But with that, I think we're going to call it a close today. Just because, one, I've been kind of going all day. So I just kind of need to unwind a little bit. However, I'll be doing kind of the same as I did today. Tomorrow, I'll be streaming all day long. I'll be putting something on the console for a while, and then I'll do our usual time in the evening, just so that I don't lose that momentum. But yeah, it's been fun. If you guys have been watching the whole time or part time, whatever, thank you. I appreciate your guys' viewership. I hope to see you guys again in the future. I'll be posting this on all the socials. And yeah, we'll see how far this goes. As always, I am Magic Mario. Peace.